I don't know what it is about chairs that compels people to constantly reinvent them by creating these batshit insane ideas one after another. It seems every month there's a new horrible chair design. Ah, this one's made out of sawdust. You sit on it and it'll help your posture and also reduce body odor and combat swamp ass. I just made a video on a shitty chair design not too long ago, and now there's an even shittier design. It's just crazy the rate at which these awful chairs are being produced. So this is the Anti-Manspreading chair, and Mashable says it's absolutely brilliant. So if Mashable says it's brilliant, it's probably the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen. It's basically a timeout chair from middle school. I'm surprised they don't put a dunce hat on the guy that sits in that. Just look at the way he's sitting. He looks depressed. He looks very scared, shy, like he's about to get beaten by his wife over there. Banging his knees together and his balls are fucking constricted, and if he moves around it's gonna be like a Newton cradle in his nutsack. This is just not a very comfortable sitting position for most men. If you took his pants off right there, it'd be looking like Homer Simpson strangling Bart Simpson if Bart Simpson was his nutsack. The testicles need room, and the sack needs room, otherwise everything gets strangled and uncomfortable. That being said, the men that flail out their legs are obvious douchebag assholes, but it's not just a man problem. Women do that same thing too. It's not exclusive to one of the genders. Anyone can spread their legs out, taking up way too much space. I don't know why all of a sudden it's been named after men. It happens for all genders. How socially inept are people these days? This isn't a solution to anything. The solution for someone taking up too much room is politely asking them, hey, can you scoot over a little bit or not take up this much room? A conversation with someone is typically enough. Unless you're squaring off with fucking Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe who happens to be man-spreading on your subway, then yeah, maybe he won't budge, but most people aren't opposed to moving their legs a little closer together if you nicely ask them to. But to say they need to curl up into a fucking fetal position, little ball sitting down like this chair makes them, that's not exactly considerate because that's super uncomfortable. The nutsack needs a little bit of room, which is why the legs typically get spread out a little bit. You see, if I saw a dude sitting like this with his hands on his knees and shit like this, I'd assume that he's hiding something from me, like he's concealing a deadly weapon down there that he intends to use. It's a suspicious looking posture in seated position for most men. All curled over like that, looking all proper like they're at the bottom of the pyramid on a cheerleading team. It just doesn't make sense because no one's gonna willingly sit like that because it is uncomfortable. And also, this chair doesn't help with the issue of spreading your legs too far, both men and women, because you can just rest your legs on top of it. It's not that high. Unless it's coated with barbed wire and broken glass, it's not going to hurt you that much. It's just it's a useless invention. I don't know if they plan on selling this. I didn't bother looking into it more. I imagine they will try and sell this as like a novelty chair for someone who thinks they're fighting some noble fight against the man-spreading menace, the epidemic of legs spread out too far. But it's still, no matter what, even as just a one-off thing, just a fucking dumb idea. And this is where I get totally lost on what their idea is here. They make the kryptonite to their own chair with a man-spreading chair that teaches you to spread out further than you need to. I don't know why they say only women can use it. I don't see some type of biometric lock on it that's going to prevent a man from sitting on that chair and spreading out. And I don't know why you'd be teaching people to spread out if what you're trying to stop is the spreading out. I guess they just want the women to be the one to spread out, which I don't fucking get at all. If I was a woman, I would be genuinely offended and insulted that this product exists because it treats women like they're too fucking stupid to know how to spread out. So instead they're going to charge you money to buy this chair, to put a little fucking wood block where your vagina is, so that way you spread your legs out. Fucking charging you money for man-spreading training wheels. It's embarrassing. I just really don't get it. Again, I don't know if this is something they're trying to sell or not. But my god, even the fact that they invented these two prototypes is just insanity, just straight fucking lunacy. You don't say. I mean, it won't even act as a band-aid on the problem. And it's not a problem in the first place. It's an imaginary problem. There's not some type of fucking pandemic sweeping the world where men are spreading their legs out across the entire fucking row of chairs or across the whole subway doing full-length splits. You can ask someone to scoot their legs in closer if you need the space. I don't think there's going to be many people that are rolling up their sleeves ready to fight you because you asked them to scoot their legs a little closer in. It's fucking ridiculous. And also, Mashable sucks. I hate this trend where they bold random letters. So they bolded forever and manspreading. It's like they're subliminally trying to send me a message telling me to keep manspreading forever. It's not a problem faced by only women. In fact, it's not a problem faced by many people at all, but it's not exclusive to women when there's someone spreading their legs too far. That affects anyone that wants to sit around the area. Yep, just absolute garbage, but hats off to anyone that wants to pay for some of these bad boys. You know, maybe I'm wrong and this will catch on huge and I'll be going to a restaurant and I'll have to ask to order the manspread-proof booster seat. Or I'll have to take like a driver's ed course of manspreading, learning the proper ways of sitting using these chairs. It's just an unbelievably ridiculous idea for a product and just a big old pile of shit. That's about it. See ya. I'm no stranger to stupid ideas. In fact, I'm the god emperor of dumb, dangerous shit. Recently, I thought it'd be a really cool video idea if I strapped Kevlar to my chest and then shot myself point blank with a revolver, just because I thought that'd be like super fucking cool, like how strong is body armor and is it painful? Hopefully the body armor would be strong enough to stop the bullet. It wasn't like an elaborate suicide attempt. I was convinced it was a cool idea because the guy who invented Kevlar, I think every year for the last like 30 or 40 years, he has a convention like a Kevlar con, like furry con but for body armor enthusiasts, where he puts on a Kevlar vest and he takes a revolver and just shoots himself in the chest. And dude's like 80 years old and he still does it. And I'm like, if this old fucking fossil's bones can take it, I'm sure I can too. And I'm like, that's a good video idea. I had to be talked out of it by my friends. The point being, I come up with shitty, dumb ideas all the time. Another really banging bad idea I had is I thought it'd be great if you directed a porn video, but put like a jump scare in there. Just put like right when it's reaching climax, that way whoever's jerking off is about to like blow their load and then all of a sudden, bang, big jump scare out of nowhere. Just to really ruin someone's day. Again, bad ideas across the board. So I have a keen eye in recognizing impossibly awful ideas, and one I want to share with you today is one that I found really enjoyable. Of course, it's on Kickstarter, where all bad ideas go, especially when they try and scam you. This is a lawnmower that uses lasers to cut your grass instead of the spinning blades. They claim that lawnmowers are the cause of over $1 billion worth of injury per year. Like 550,000 Americans are being injured and dying from the lawnmower menace, making it sound like this is the real pandemic, that lawnmowers are killing everyone out there. You know, in 10 years from now, it's going to be nothing but mangled corpses littering the United States because the lawnmowers are taking over and rising up to spite us.
J&M Inventions, LLC is a family-owned business, father and daughter team, which focuses their attention on making people's lives safer and avoiding injuries and deaths. They invented a new way to cut the grass, the laser lawnmower, and are seeking $400,000. They have contacted a large well-known company, we are unable to say which company due to signing a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, and they have shown interest in the laser lawnmower. However, they are wanting a prototype and proof of concept. Please help us to help others. Every dollar gets us closer to the goal. This lawnmower could prevent you or one of your loved ones from being injured or killed.
What a presentation, am I right? I was moved to tears. My wallet was flying out of my trousers to give it to this project. Nothing inspires confidence quite like having a text-to-speech voiceover because the people behind it are either too cowardly or just don't exist in the first place. It's a disaster. So they don't have anything to show. They don't even have like a fucking Microsoft Paint doodle of their laser lawnmower. All they have is the idea, like, what if we took a lawnmower and put lasers on it to cut the grass? It's like something Dr. Evil would come up with. I don't think I need to explain why it's a stupid idea, but I'm going to anyway. If you're using lasers to cut your grass, they have to be some strong fucking lasers, and it has to vaporize the grass. And you're using heat, because it's lasers, right? So you're taking heat to your lawn, which is, you're going to be rolling the dice every time you try and cut the grass with your laser lawnmower. You're just going to light your whole fucking backyard on fire. Imagine you just get the lawnmower out, old Grandpappy Cletus is out back with his push laser lawnmower, fires that bitch up and it immediately just catches fire on the grass. You better pray that it rained last night before you bust out the laser lawnmower. Otherwise, you just fucking cremate yourself out there. It'll just be a spontaneous combustion. You'll incinerate when you fire that bitch up. I think a lot of people may overlook the cost. It is significantly cheaper to just take some flimsy pieces of metal and strap it on something that spins than it is to put fucking high caliber lasers on this device here. That would be like a fucking $50,000 lawnmower in order to have lasers strong enough to cut your grass. And oh my god, you better hope that you don't accidentally like lift the laser up. You just light your fucking legs on fire or, blast somebody's eyeballs out if it reflects off something. There is so much danger associated with this project. It's like they saw the number of 550,000 Americans being injured by lawnmowers and like, you know what? We can pump those numbers up. That's some rookie shit. We can do better. I'm surprised they weren't pitching like, what if we took a lawnmower and put C4? So you fire up the C4 to blow up the grass, It's a crazy, stupid idea. Also, all their claims are wrong and just made up. I decided to look it up. I did know the United States leads the world in lawnmower-related deaths and accidents, but the number is not 550,000 Americans. The number is 35,000 Americans per year suffer some kind of lawnmower-related injury, which is still significantly higher than you should expect. I think that is an outrageously high number, but it's also not this apocalyptic figure that they keep posting on there. I also love the way they sign off their presentation. You need to donate to us in order to save your mother and your children, because the lawnmowers are coming, and they're not stopping. The only thing that can stop these lawnmowers is our laser lawnmower to meet them in armed combat, mortal combat on the battlefield. They like threaten you to donate, like how much you love your parents. They might die to the lawnmowers pretty soon, and only we can stop it. Give us money. There's literally nothing here except this weird stock animation they paid 5 cents for in order to present this PowerPoint. There is nothing. They don't have a single design document. They say they're in talks with some large company who loved it, but then don't say the company, and then say they need to have a prototype and a concept design and shit. How convenient they can't name the company. I don't know who the fuck they talked to that said they loved this idea. Must have been Jimmy Neutron Corporation. I have no fucking clue, because this is the stupidest idea imaginable. Why would you want to take that much heat to an extremely flammable source? I can't imagine what their next project's going to be when this one inevitably fails. Maybe they'll come up with like the toaster bathtub floaty. It's a little floaty for you to put a toaster on, so when you're taking a bath, you can also make toast. And maybe it'll fall in and electrocute you. Who knows? But it's an invention, I just love dumb ideas like this, and Kickstarter and Indiegogo are so full of them. I love shitty scams like this. It's fucking wonderful. But this one, they didn't even bother putting in any work. There's not even a single shred of effort put into it. They didn't even bother to voice it over themselves. They don't have any kind of design document or anything. It's just, what if we had a lawnmower with lasers on it? It's like something a child would pitch at a student class president running. Like, I'm going to give all of you lasers on your shoes. Vote for me. Love it. I just wanted to share this because I had a big goofy smile on my face reading about this and watching it. The video is pretty boring. They just go into non-existent numbers they pulled out of their ass. Here's some statistics that we made up. Get scared, cause the lawnmower menace is coming. What if the most dangerous place in the universe wasn't hell? It was your own backyard. Look at these lawnmower injury statistics and piss in your fucking pants. Piddle in your britches. Because it's scary. But we have the solution. It's a lawnmower with lasers. Pussy? But yeah, anyway, that's about it. So yeah. We've all had extremely awful ideas at some point in our life. It's part of the human condition. We're cursed to occasionally think of the stupidest shit possible. I'll go ahead and share one of my worst ideas ever with all of you, and I know I've brought this up before, but I think it's always worth mentioning again. For what it's worth, I still think this could have been a banger video. I'm not convinced it's actually a stinky idea, but my friends stepped in and slapped some sense into me. I wanted to do a breast milk tier list, where we get a lot of different breast milk from some strangers and compare it to see who has the best, which athlete submitted the tastiest sample. Like, imagine that video. That goes so hard. That's like a Mr. Beast 100 million view video right there. Here's 100 strangers all lactating in a circle. Whoever has the best breast milk wins a house, Point is, we didn't do it. And this is what separates us from the true lunatics. We're able to recognize when an idea is terrible and shouldn't be acted upon. At least most of us. Like I said, in terms of breast milk, I still think there was a nugget of genius with that idea. But the ability to not actually go through on a horrible idea is extremely important and apparently a skill some people lack. I want to show you a video as well as go over a situation that happened in Mississippi this week where a daycare worker was convinced it was a good idea to go into the daycare wearing a scream mask and yelling and shaking kids for no reason at all other than to be cruel. Not that there's ever a reason to put on like a Halloween mask and start like trying to jump scare 4-year-olds. I can't really think of a situation where that would make sense. It'd be justified. Like, oh, I see. So the reason you went up and started yelling and screaming at this 4-year-old spitting on their face is because they didn't write their name in cursive properly. Ah, okay, now I get it. Just an all-around fucking stupid decision from this lady here to do this. It's pretty disturbing to watch, so I'm not going to show you too much of it. It's pretty hard to sit through. And these kids are so young that if you put like a ball behind your back, they're going to think it vanished. These are really young kids we're talking about here who are very, very scared and upset about this. So I have no doubt that they probably went home fucking frightened. Like, it could have been traumatizing, I have no doubt. The daycare worker did get fired. I'll give you the good news right away. They were investigated and fired for this incident based on what I read. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Hey, calm down, kids. It's just a prank. What? Why aren't you laughing? It's a YouTube prank video. What don't you get about it? Oh, lighten up. Come on. Oh, why are the parents upset? What, you sent your kids to daycare to, like, learn or be safe or something? No, I'm letting the demon out. I'm scaring the shit out of them. That's what daycare is all about, I guess. Just an all-around, completely brain-dead idea here. And you would think they'd stop after this first room here, like, maybe they're so stupid they didn't grasp that kids are obviously going to be afraid of yelling in a creepy mask. So you'd think that they're like, oh, okay, this was a bad idea, maybe delete the video and we're never going to talk about this again. But they were so confident and having so much fun, they did this to the entire daycare, even after this first room. I always hate when people say this and reference the show, even though I did like the show, but it truly does feel like a scene straight out of The Office where Michael cooks up the dumbest fucking plan imaginable and then does it. I get the same vibe from this whole situation as I do something from that show. Now, I first saw this on Twitter, and Twitter being this repository of the dumbest fucking most unhinged takes of all time, I expected a lot of the comments to say things like, kids are too soft these days anyway, we need to toughen them up. In fact, I don't think the daycare worker went far enough. We need to start feeding them nails in their cereal and motor oil in their milk. Make them big and tough, grow up big and strong for the harsh world we live in here. But to my surprise, I actually didn't see any of those takes. This was so indefensible that not even the most brain-rotted zombies on Twitter came out in support of this in any way. It really is just a genuinely horrible idea, start to finish, top to bottom. It's just a crazy lady who thought this was a good idea to just traumatize the kids there. And she's not alone, by the way. She does have an accomplice. I didn't show her in the video, but the woman filming shows another woman who's encouraging her, saying, oh, those kids over there have been kind of naughty. Maybe you should go scare them, which she does. So I don't know if they're using this as some form of cruel punishment for not following directions properly. I don't really know. But she's not alone. There was at least one other person who was encouraging this behavior. I'd also like to say I read a post from the woman who filmed this video. Apparently, she wasn't in cahoots with the masked lunatic here, this deranged maniac who did this. She was filming this as evidence that they're kind of fucked up. Apparently they had done this before and it wasn't filmed, so this time she wanted to make sure she got it on tape to send to the parents to let them know what was going on. Of course, this could be a lie. There's no telling for sure, but I am inclined to believe that because it doesn't sound like the woman filming is like encouraging her or anything like that, at least not that I heard. So I just wanted to at least put that out there for like complete information regarding this. I'd also like to give a personal tale from the past of Charles, a little lore dump here, some exposition. I do remember being in like 3rd or 4th grade, and for Halloween sometimes a teacher would dress up or decorate the room and maybe even make it like a creepy like moment scare thing. But it was always so quick where it was like, ah, gotcha. It's just me, the teacher. Miss Algebra here, you know, like Scooby-Doo where they unmask the thing so that way the kids aren't super afraid. Also, I was like 9 or 10. You know, I wasn't like 4 years old like the kids in this video. So I think there is just a huge difference. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with teachers having fun with Halloween in the classroom, like decorating it or even doing like a ooh, spooky moment thing. But it has to be something quick and not fucking traumatizing like this. There's just no place for that. At the end of the day, when you play a prank or you do like a lighthearted scare that's supposed to be in good fun, afterwards everyone should be able to laugh about it. They shouldn't be screaming and crying as a result of your prank or whatever. I won't show you any more clips from the video, but I would like to describe one more thing that happened in here that I found to be particularly disturbing. One of the kids gets so frightened he starts running away as quick as he can. But the lady in the mask starts chasing after him and then picks him up and brings him back to the area where she's yelling and screaming at the kids. So I feel like this is going to make every kid here hate October as well as feel genuinely unsafe at that daycare from this point forward. And it's also going to make the parents really concerned because this is someone they've trusted with their kids. And for some reason, they decided to just start scaring the shit out of them for no reason whatsoever. So overall, just a horrible idea and a bad situation. I am happy to hear they got fired for this. 100% deserved. I think that is 100% a great move. And yeah, that's about it. See ya. I really didn't think Twitter would ever have a stupider idea than super follows, that paid monthly subscription to your favorite Twitter account. I thought that was going to be like the magnum opus of incompetence for the site. But Elon Musk took over now, and his neurons are working overtime. He's rubbing the Dogecoins in his brain together and creating some absolute insanity when it comes to bad ideas for monetization. So let's talk about his new $8 a month subscription for check marks on Twitter. Elon Musk has only been the head of it for like less than a week and is already proving me wrong. I said he wouldn't make like any change whatsoever. It'd say exactly the same. But dude is fucking cleaning house at the company and implementing some absolute brain dead ideas. So I'm sure you guys all saw he's looking to charge like $20 a month for verification. After Stephen King's like, nah, I'm out, he started haggling with Stephen King in this public embarrassment, like a humiliation fetish from Elon Musk. He's like, oh, bro, but what about $8 a month? So now he's rolling with $8 a month. Here, actually, I'll just pull up the tweet so you can read it. He like starts groveling at Stephen King's feet. Like, no, what do you mean you're leaving? Yeah, we need to pay the bills somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? I don't know how he wasn't embarrassed posting that publicly. That's so shameless. But yeah, so that's the idea, charging $8 to keep the check mark, as well as opening it up to anyone who can pay $8 a month and have a check mark. Oh, here it is. Lords and peasant system, power to the people for $8 a month. So I think most people can sniff out some problems right away with the idea, and Elon Musk himself. So Rubius point this out. What happens when a random user pays $8, changes his display name to Elon Musk using your same profile pic, starts tweeting like you, verified checks exist so people know they follow the real person. He doesn't even address that, he just said it already happens, which he's just blatantly wrong about. There's currently, at least not from the last time I checked, which was 2 hours ago, there is no verified Elon Musk scamming accounts, but there are people like impersonating him without the check mark. Whereas this can have verified scammers. But regardless, not even the biggest takeaway here. I think anyone who pays $8 for a check mark is an absolute certified fucking loser. It should only be used by like companies, maybe. I could see that like companies or businesses wanting it. Individuals, I think that shit is trash. Like, you are basically just begging to be bullied. Like, that's like an elevated chat, but on Twitter. That's just a -8 in every reply. I would not take a check mark from anyone seriously anymore. It would be too embarrassing. But yeah, his whole thing is like, it's going to... Actually, here, let me just pull it up instead of put words in his mouth. Here. You get priority in replies, mentions, and searches, which is essential to defeat spam and scams. Which I cannot believe he's that out of touch. This will only increase that because anyone can do it now. So now you can have verified scams, which are going to take priority in the replies and in the searches. I'm not paying $8 a month for the checkmark, I'll tell you right now. That is no shot. That is so dumb. It is more productive to burn your $8 a month. You are getting no value from it. So when that happens, there'll be like 1,000 moist criticals everywhere, and they will all be in the priority scamming people. So it's only going to increase that problem. And you don't even get an ad-free experience, you just get half as many ads. So imagine paying $8 a month for a stupid little Boy Scout badge and then still getting ads. How silly. This is like actual pay pig behavior where you just pay someone to get nothing in return except insults. $8 for a check mark. I see why he's doing it, because now he just paid $44 billion for this pile of shit, and there is no way it's making money, not even close, so he's just scrapping together every shitty idea to try and squeeze a little money into it. And he also has a problem right now where advertisers are pulling out. So not only is he losing all of his, like, members in the company, the employees that he's firing en masse, but the advertisers themselves are starting to pull out because they have no faith in Elon actually steering the ship. So he can't rely on them anymore, which he publicly admits to Stephen King. So he's just trying everything to make something back on this absolute massive shitpost that was so costly. Man made a $44 billion joke and is starting to regret it, like a Darman video. This shit is super follows on crack. Oh, that is such a... I keep forgetting about super chats. Like, super chats is absolutely inviting wedgies into your life. If you are... sorry, super follows. Super follows invites, like, actual swirlies in the bathroom from the football team. If anyone sees that you are a super follower of someone on Twitch, you will never hear the end of it. You are gonna be absolutely bullied on Twitter forever. So people don't do it. You never see super followers. Because you're paying for fucking nothing. And that is exactly what the checkmark's about to be with the $8 a month. It's so beautiful. I want to quickly explain super follows a bit more, since I'm aware that most of you probably don't even know what it is. It's a system Twitter rolled out where you can do a monthly paid subscription to your favorite Twitter accounts, and you get like a little badge that highlights you that you're a super follower publicly, so you can stand out in conversation, and you get bonus tweets. You probably haven't seen any super followers because no one uses it, because it's downright embarrassing. This is just like going out in public and asking to be spit on. If someone sees you're a super follower on Twitter, good luck having anything you're talking about be taken seriously. And this is what I feel the checkmark will become with this new system if it goes into place. Because you're paying for nothing, and it publicly shows that you are wasting your money. So of course you're just going to be insulted for it, and I think that's going to be a deterrent for people buying it. Like, I just don't see why anyone would, when you don't get anything in return for it except for a public badge that lets people know you're wasting your money. Oh, to all complainers, please continue complaining, but it'll cost $8. Fucking epic. That's a fat own right there, noobs, from the mastermind of memes. Let that sink in. I mean, I wish he would have just shut it down. Maybe this is like a long-term play to like slowly wean people off of it, which would be pretty big brain. But it would have been better if he just like, yeah, I regret it, I'm shutting it down. That would have been fantastic. But now he's just gonna go out sad here with this one. Just a way to make money. Yeah, it's a desperate way of making money. One that I don't see going super well. The only people that are gonna use it are people that do it to troll or scam. Why the fuck is a normal person gonna care about having a check mark on their name? Yeah, I'm Biff Cheeseburger from North Baptist University. I want to be verified on Twitter. I'll pay $8 a month for it. I saw, like, even the Elon meat writers that pretty much support everything are kind of scratching their heads here. Because for $8 a month, you're getting nothing. You get priority in replies, yeehaw, so you can say L plus ratio quicker than most people and have it at the top. Like, you don't get anything out of that subscription. They keep comparing it to things like Netflix or Hulu subs, but think of all the content you get from anything else with a subscription. Fucking RuneScape, you get an entire thousands hours worth of gameplay. World of Warcraft, and then any streaming service ever. You get fucking tons of content. On Twitter, what you get a check mark, you get a badge. It's worthless. Like, if it was a one-time payment, I could see some people doing it, but a subscription, a monthly subscription to have that, nobody's doing that, except for businesses, maybe. No shot. And you don't even get an ad-free experience, so it's even worse than, like, anything else, like, alternative. O.J. Simpson finally getting his checkmark. True! O.J. Simpson made that post to Elon. Now that Elon's got Twitter under his control, maybe now I can get verified. And he can for only $8. So we finally got the real OJ with that checkmark. You can be like O.J. Simpson on Twitter. Let's go. Fucking huge. So I can make fake government accounts for only $8. We were talking about this on the podcast, and someone in the chat made like a really fun suggestion of just impersonating foreign policy like higher ups, because you can do this infinitely, right? Even if you have to verify via photo ID and you get banned for impersonation, you can just do it again. You can just keep doing this over and over again and keep changing your handle to like anyone with a position of power and just going fucking hog wild. He said the $8 will help fund content creators. Is there any info on this? Oh yeah, he did say that. No, that just seems like buzzwords to get people more on his side because people love that kind of sentiment. I don't know how the fuck that's going to fund content creators on Twitter. Like, what the fuck is a Twitter content creator? Like, just anyone with a big following on Twitter? I think the payable verification at this point is meant to reduce bots and not meant to signify that an account belongs to a public figure. Yeah, but it's not going to stop anything with bots or scams or anything. Because it's open to anyone. You can just pay $8 a month. It's just going to be a little costly to promote your scams, but you're going to get more out of it because it's going to fool more people because of the checkmark. And since it floats to the top of the replies now, and since it's going to be the first things that come up when you search things, scams are going to be much more prevalent. Assuming it goes as he has it stated so far. Maybe he has fail-safes in mind, but he certainly hasn't said that yet. How will this stop bots? Bots already exist now, and when you implement buying verification, you'll have the same bots plus easily verified bots. I don't know, like, he's not very in touch. It doesn't, like, I don't see how this stops spam or bots. It seems to me to only increase spam and scams, but I guess we'll see. Like, it doesn't seem to stop bots. The bots are still there, and now some of them can be verified. Disney adult. If that didn't just jump scare you and send a shiver down your spine, then you've either never heard of a Disney adult, never met one, or you're not human. Because you should be afraid. Very afraid. Now, of course, not all Disney adults are built the same. There's different levels of it. I'm talking about the most extreme level of completely obsessed to the point where it becomes their entire life and identity. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Disney products as an adult. I like a lot of Disney things. But there's a big difference between greaseball, goofball, goblin man Charles and a Disney adult that's willing to uproot their entire life just to be closer to the theme parks in order to go every single day. You may think that this is some kind of crazy exaggeration that doesn't happen, but it does. More often than you think. There are a large number of seemingly totally normal people that for some reason have been completely brainwashed and perpetually spend a large chunk of their paycheck consuming Disney products or just going to Disney properties way more often than any reasonable person should. It's so weird. And Disney knows this, which is why they've now recently announced that they're building their own community, their own neighborhood basically, for Disney adults to go live together and be part of the Disney family forever. Even just the marketing material give me the heebie-jeebies saying that this is going to be the best chapter of your life, like forever. I don't know, that's eerie sounding. Visiting a Disney neighborhood sounds worse than visiting hell. At least the demons and devils in hell aren't pretending to be something they're not. because Disney is an evil corporation. I don't care how you spin it, no matter how big of a fan you are of Disney properties. Disney as a corporation is one of the greediest, shadiest, and just downright deplorable companies there is in the world. For a company that's supposed to be all about magic and being the happiest place on earth, the only time Disney seems to be at its happiest is when they're magically face-fucking you with their insatiable gluttony to shake you down for all of your lunch money and keep you perpetually suckling on their teat, consuming only their milk. It is a scary company. I'm not here to really get into the weeds of all of the awful things Disney has done since its inception, but I do want to get into the weeds of the neighborhood here because I find this to just be like a dystopian idea where corporations like Disney are going to start building their own communities. In my opinion, it's just an alarming idea. But anyway, the first one from Disney here is being pitched as story living, and there's no information on pricing that I can find at the moment, but since it's Disney, you can bet your sweet bippy it's going to be overpriced. You'll be paying 7 figures for a 1-bed, 1-bath, 400 square foot crack shack without a driveway, because in the Disney neighborhood, you use magic to get around or some shit. Like, you're gonna overpay for your property in the Disney neighborhood, I imagine. But one thing that really stands out to me is in the pitch here, they have this legendary service notice where it says, at Cotino Community, which is the first part of Story Living, cast members will strive to deliver the same friendly Disney service you've come to expect. This was super odd to me. What do you mean cast members? It's a neighborhood, right? I've lived in neighborhood communities my entire life, and I've never seen NPCs wandering around checking in on me, making sure I'm abiding by rules and regulations, asking me questions. This sounds more like spies. And the whole idea of this neighborhood is actually bigger than I thought it was. It's not just a residential community. This is basically a place that they're building for people to go to die. In addition to having housing from Disney, the community is seemingly isolated from the rest of the world, just locked into this one fucking dimension over here, like where Squidward went to be all alone, but this time it's only for the most obsessed Disney fans. So you would have property in the community, and the community itself also has stores and restaurants and like activities and events all held within that neighborhood, as well as like a beach that you have to pay for access to as well, even as a community member. So it really feels like this is where people would go and then not leave. That's the design of it, because why would they? Everything they need is there, and it's all Disney approved, and you love Disney, so why not just go spend your entire life here and make sure you empty out your piggy bank the entire way before you shed the mortal coil? They have like a proposed 55 and older only community as well. So to me, it really just seems like they're trying to build the one-stop shop for Disney adults to go to die. Like, spend the rest of their life, spend all of their money on Disney and Disney only, so that way it doesn't go elsewhere, so that way they can have it all. And it's just so weird. I think it's such a fucking weird idea. So I went over it a little more on stream last night. I'll show you a couple clips of that before hopping back in for a bit more analysis. Have you heard about the city Disney is building called Story Living? Talking about the Disney neighborhood? That's got to be the worst place on earth. This place would be absolutely miserable to live. Imagine being in a Disney-only community. Have their own police force. The HOA would go crazy. Smiles mandatory. If not, you get executed in the town square. I wonder if you're allowed to have Netflix there. Oh, no chance. That'd be a crime punishable by death in Disney Story Living or whatever. The housing's too expensive. No one's going to buy these. You don't know Disney adults. Disney adults will actually trample each other just for the chance of living in a Disney neighborhood.
Touched the hearts and minds of people around the world for nearly 100 years.
Okay, and stop sucking your own dick. Just show me the neighborhood.
By our world-class Disney cast.
As Imagineers, story is at the heart of everything.
I still think it's
we
so
do,
cute they
and
call
we love
themselves
bringing authentic
Imagineers.
places to life, to immerse you in the.
This exciting new venture will enhance, extend, and strengthen the Disney brand by allowing us to bring the magic of Disney to places you may never have expected.
Surveillance. We enhanced the Disney brand by spying on you. We own you. You live in our neighborhoods and you are literally our property.
Community is something truly special.
We're exploring
Nightmarish
a variety of
is the word I'd
locations in
use.
the U.S. for our Story Living by Disney here in the community of Rancho Mirage, just
Is this like
outside of Palm Springs,
WandaVision?
California.
Kind of.
And I'm excited to
But
announce that our
worse.
first Story Living by Disney community will be located in experienced home builders at each site who contribute their talents and expertise to each community.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. It's not really like Celebration. This is legitimately a Disney neighborhood. And I imagine those houses are going to come pre-built with some kind of surveillance or data harvesting program. Charles, I noticed at approximately 8:45 p.m. this evening you weren't smiling. Is something the matter? Do we need to have you re-educated? Be happy or else. It's not even so much about be happy, it's more consume forever. Consume or else. Do we need to send the Imagine police to have a talk with you? Oh, the police won't be imaginary. Those aren't Imagineers in uniform, I'll tell you what. Disney's absolutely going to have like a paramilitary force. They are going to lock this shit down. You can get in, but not out. No, you can get out too the second you can't afford to live there anymore. Or if you make the mistake of trying to download a competing streaming service. Contraband at the Disney neighborhoods is going to be like smuggling in a DVD of like Boss Baby or something. An animation that's not Disney. Disney wants to own human souls themselves. At least the Disney adults will all be in one place so we can avoid them. I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of like a quarantine zone for like the most brainwashed Disney adults, I suppose. And actually, I do wonder if they'd even be allowed access to the rest of the internet. I really imagine this Disney neighborhood being complete lock and key. Like, your days are designed for you. You're restricted access to a bunch of different things. Yeah, it'd probably just be like an intranet for the neighborhood. Because, I mean, if they give you unrestricted access to the internet, you could be leaving a negative review about the housing situation. You could be saying less than favorable things, and they can't have that. You should go there when built. Man, fuck that. That'd be going to like a Scientology church. That's scary. Let's go ahead and play around a little bit here, because I don't exactly know how this neighborhood's going to go, but knowing Disney, I think this could end up being like one of the most outrageously strict places on the planet. I really feel there's a non-zero chance that they will outright forbid anything that's not Disney or Disney adjacent. Like, they won't have direct competition. I wouldn't be surprised if you can't even Amazon Prime packages into your Disney neighborhood house. Like, they probably would just turn them away at the door or something. You can only order through Disney pre-approved services. I really think that that's not out of the realm of possibility, because it seems like they're going to really own this neighborhood. Everything is going to be Disney related. Like I said, the cast members thing really throws me for a wild loop, because that just seems like actual simulation cult shit to a certain degree, where you will be monitored. Like, it seems like it's going to be constant surveillance from the cast members on their community. I also do think there's a non-zero chance that there will be some expectations on their residents as part of like an HOA agreement where they'll attend Disney events or Disney hosted celebrations within the community and shit like that in order to get them active in the community or something, and they'll probably spin it as like, you gotta really embrace the magic. You're living in the Disney neighborhood, damn it, so come to all of our events. Why are you here if you don't want to be? You know, get over here, come to the events, in order to try and get them on the hook to start spending more money on Disney-related shit and continue the brainwashing. If you're already living in the Disney neighborhood, if you paid to be there, you're already pretty brainwashed, but this is like another level. This is a completely different level where you are just completely submerged in Disney and Disney only, cut off from the rest of the world. Also, worth noting real quick, Disney has tried something similar before with a place called Celebration, which is, like, it's pretty similar to what they're pitching here with Story Living by Disney, but it completely failed. Celebration completely failed. It was a disaster for them, and I think they no longer have Celebration as like a Disney thing anymore. I'm not entirely sure, it's all kind of messy, but it was a failure on Disney's part to do this in the past. But they're trying again. They're saying, you know what? What about Second Breakfast? That was so good, I want to try it a second time. And they're going with Story Living this time. But they've broadened the scope, and they want to create all of these amenities for the neighborhood. And to me, it all just seems like control. Like, they just want to control all of your spending, then make sure it all goes back into Disney's pockets. This shit is scary. Also, I read something from Celebration back when it was still Disney's, where apparently the HOA was so fucking evil that they had some kind of clause where they could legally tell you that you have to get rid of your pets if they're deemed a nuisance or something. I only read a little bit about that from Google, so take that with a grain of salt. That could be all anecdotal and completely incorrect. But I wouldn't be surprised if Disney really did have something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised to have something like that in Story Living by Disney when they do build this. I really do think it'll probably be one of the most awful places to live, truly. Even as like a Disney adult, if you're a huge fan of Disney, I think living there would make you fucking hate Disney too. But yeah, anyway, I just want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. Everyone seems to be constantly scrambling in a frenzy for social media interaction or views, and in the words of a great douchebag, attention is the most valuable currency. And right now, people are eating each other alive for it. Like even just recently, we saw the Stanley Cup craze, where people were going feral, absolutely ballistic, like peeling flesh from bone to get their hands on a new limited edition Stanley Cup so they could go home and film a TikTok for it for a couple updoots and brownie points online to let people know that they're part of the cool trend. And as this has continued to be the focal point for our species, this internet attention, the pursuit of it has gotten really depraved. Over the last few years in particular, on YouTube specifically, we have seen so many people try some extremely dangerous things in order to stand out from the crowd, whether it's really dangerous or cruel pranks, people getting themselves shot for the sake of their content, or getting themselves even killed for the sake of trying to produce content that'll get a lot of eyes on it. Like shit, it's in streams too. Half of Kick right now is just the most hateful garbage from people trying to be incendiary and get themselves beat up in a fight. Just like, watch me get my ass beat, episode 500 with Jack Doherty. And it's there because it's supposed to be shocking. And it's just an awful direction, but that's kind of the content pill society has taken recently. And that brings me to what I want to talk about today. My friends and I like to joke around with this concept, and sometimes we'll brainstorm some of the most degenerate video ideas imaginable. Ideas we'll never actually do. But sometimes we'll cook up something so foul that it becomes a really tasty treat to play around with as like an idea. So I wanted to take you into the kitchen today and show you this secret recipe for a particular formula that we thought was just entertainingly awful. This is perhaps one of the worst ideas we've ever had for a video, and I just have to share it because I do think about it from time to time. Not as a piece of content that should ever be made by any sane human being on the planet, but just as something that is so fucked up that I can't help but giggle at the absurdity of it. Would you ever donate sperm? Okay, this is another idea I think we'll never actually do, but it's an idea we tossed around as a joke that I think about from time to time. I don't know if I ever said this on stream. It's a diabolical idea. I want to preface by saying that. If all of us donated sperm, and when you donate sperm, there's like a whole process you have to go through to make sure you're like okay to do that, and that people would choose your sperm and all of it. Like there's a whole bunch of bells and whistles and hoops to jump through for it. You can't just go there and be dumping DNA willy-nilly. But we thought it'd be really fun if we went as a group to do that, and someone uses our sperm. I think you get notified if it gets chosen, like if someone's using your load. And we would make a video checking in on the families that used our sperm in 18 years and see who had the most successful child. To see whose sperm was like the mightiest and produced the best offspring. But it's kind of a fucked up thing to do. But as a concept, it's like, that's kind of fire. Like, no, my kid's actually the best. Look at this. You know, he just graduated high school, straight A's, and he's got a scholarship to USC. It's like, damn, no, my kid's got a crippling heroin addiction. Shit, I'm out of the race. Darn. Like, conceptually, it's a banger. But morally, well, there's a lot of gray area to work with there. It'd be an 18-year-long content investment. And then you meet your child and you have to break the news to him like, look, bud, you were just content. I conceived you on this upload date for this purpose. Thank you for winning me the competition. The 23andMe would go crazy, though. Hey, that whole thing would go crazy. The winning child gets the ad revenue. Yeah. But just think about, you can make a whole slew of videos out of that. You can make like you know how people do those time lapses of I took a picture of myself every day for 6 years or whatever. We do a time lapse of like our children from a distance. The parents keep us updated on their activity, and we have like after 18 years this beautiful montage of our child growing up, and then we get to see who wins in the end. That's like a whole season's worth of activity. Yours would definitely win. I don't think so. I think if the whole crew gave their semen, and let's say we actually pulled the trigger on this downright evil idea, I think I would probably not win. My genes aren't great. I'm 5'6". I had terrible mentality growing up, acne out the wazoo. Like I think my kid would probably not be super happy. I think of our group, Chase would win. Chase he is a specimen. Chase is like one of the most gifted athletes without ever trying. Anything he does that even remotely resembles athleticism, he crushes. And he is naturally good at everything he does. Literally everything Chase does, he is incredible at. I think Chase would produce a superstar. Yeah, but you're smart. Chase is so much smarter than me. Chase blows me out of the water. Like, out of our group, I'm probably the fucking dumbest, too, so I don't have anything working in my favor. I would lose this competition right away. Bro, I'd give birth to, like, another fucking Jack Doherty. They'd be miserable. I'd be ashamed. Meanwhile, Chase is gonna have, like an actual hero. A champion. There's actually a documentary that ran for 50 years and was pretty much this concept. They followed a group of children from elementary school until they were elderly and would check in every 7 years or so. You slowly saw them devolve into druggies over time. Well, that made me really sad. It was like really wholesome until the last sentence. Well, hopefully hopefully our idea wouldn't go like that. Not that we're ever doing it. But that would be a very sad ending. If your kid's a speedrunner, do you automatically win? No, absolutely not. It was illegal and Dateline covered it. The study that he was referencing, whatever that was. Yeah, I'd never even heard of that. What do you consider an early loss? If we did this? Well, I don't think you'd have an early loss unless the kid dies. Like, I don't think there's a disqualification. Or I guess if they get thrown in jail. Those would be like the only two things that would be an early disqualification, I think. Man, that'd be fucking tragic, though. Imagine we're doing our, like, I don't know, quarterly check-in on our child. And we learn that they've either been jailed for some heinous crime or dead. That'd be the worst fucking update to that video. Like, damn, guys, I lost. My kid shed the mortal coil. How are your kids doing? It'd be fucking terrible. In Germany, there was a real pilot for a TV show about a sperm race where 12 contestants donate their jizz and see which is the quickest one to reach an egg. The winner would receive a Porsche. That's too deep into the content pill. You know, it is actually an evil idea, but it's one I think about from time to time. It's like the craziest idea that I think we've ever just joked around about. Make your kids play League all day, leveling accounts, and whenever they get an account to level 30, they get their meal. That's just torture. Somehow ours is more humane than yours. Fucking maniac over here. Jesus Christ. Would you ever want to have kids? I talked about this a little bit on stream. I don't have any plans of that anytime soon. I legitimately think if I had a kid, I'd feel bad. My kid would undoubtedly be short. I don't think somehow my father's tall genes skipped my generation and the next one would get it. So my kid's going to be around my height, 5'6", probably, unless the woman is super tall. So I feel like I'd feel bad for him because it's not easy, especially with social media. Constantly getting picked apart for every small insecurity or weakness you could ever imagine for yourself. And short is like the most commonly accepted one that's still fine. Like no one bats an eye when you're insulting someone for being short. So I feel like the kid would need a very strong chin, and there's just a good chance he wouldn't have it. If I ever wanted a kid, I'd probably adopt. There's so many kids without a home right now. There's an overabundance of kids that don't have a home. Is your mom short, or did you get unlucky? My mom's short, my dad's super tall. And I got the height aspect from my mom. Mom's 5'2", dad's 6'5". So I went closer to my mom. I didn't even split the middle. The middle would have been around like 5'8", 5'9". It's sad you think that just get your height. I'm fine with it. I can handle it. But not everyone can. There's a real thing called short man syndrome. Like, legitimately, it is a thing. Do I look awake to you right now? I hope not, because I'm pretty sure I'm sleeping, stuck in a nightmare of streaming services. It's so exhausting. Chick-Fil-A is apparently launching their own streaming service. Kind of. It's more so the company that owns Chick-Fil-A is launching a streaming platform, but even still, there's a lot of silliness to touch on with this. I've already been shaking my fist at the clouds about how absurd streaming platforms have become, and every company on the planet is fishing for any possible excuse to launch a streaming service to try and wring you out like a towel to get a couple extra doubloons to fall out of your wallet. And today it's been reported that Chick-fil-A is putting their ass on that toilet seat as well. They're going to be having their own streaming service, apparently. Chick-fil-A being closed on Sunday has given the executives some extra time to cook up some of the worst ideas imaginable. So, before going into the nitty-gritty and diving into the weeds, I think most sane people would probably write this off as a horrible idea. They're a fast food restaurant. They're not in the entertainment industry. They don't have a catalog of productions or anything except for like the Eat More Chicken commercials. But you can't really launch a streaming service that's just Eat More Chicken animated adventures or whatever. It's super stupid. It's not like they're gonna fill their Chick-fil-A Plus with, Martin Scorsese exclusives or anything. It would very likely be just quickly shot, haphazardly thrown together garbage, would be my guess. Again, Chick-fil-A is in the fast food industry, not the entertainment industry. The only thing they entertain is my butt with a little extra poop when I eat too many chicken nuggets. According to Deadline, Chick-fil-A is working with a number of production companies and traditional studios to create multiple original shows for a streaming platform debuting sometime later this year. So mark your calendars, it's coming pretty soon. I can't wait. Maybe this is going to be the platform that picks up Halo Season 3. Imagine how blessed that would be. Halo partnering with Chick-fil-A to deliver the worst adaptation mankind has ever experienced, and bringing more of it. Thank God. Initially, the restaurant is said to be focused on family-friendly, unscripted programming, including a game show produced by Glassman Media and Sugar 23. I'd never heard of either of those companies, so I looked them up. Glassman Media has this impressive resume here. I've heard of 3 things on here: The Wall, and Bingo. All the others I'm in the dark on. Ex-Wives Club sounds like an absolute banger, and The Cowboy Way looks like Ram Ranch, and it was so good they brought it back to Ultimate Cowboy. Those actually look like the covers to those like erotic novels that you see on TikTok from time to time, or like a Chuck Tingle book or something. Maybe the show is incredible. Maybe it absolutely claps cheeks. I couldn't tell you. But The Cowboy Way and Ultimate Cowboy really caught my eye. And of course, I'd never heard of Sugar 23 either. It sounds like a screen name a Predator would have used before being busted by Chris Hansen. But I looked into Sugar 23, and I don't really understand. So on their website, it's a bunch of buzzwords about innovation. It's a talent management and production company that's been reimagined, which to me sounds like one of those Michelin-starred restaurant, like pretentious menu items. It's a deconstructed hot dog using squid. But they keep talking about, the mission to impact culture through entertainment, world-class entertainment executives in scripted and unscripted TV, film, and podcasts. They create original premium content for global distribution. And here's one of their examples. P&G Studios, Time Studios, and the secret sauce, Sugar 23. I love that they call themselves the secret sauce. That is adorable. Came together to make a star-driven documentary series focused on making the world a better place. Sounds very wholesome. Quick side note, you know what I'm really tired of? Star-driven anything. The Borderlands movie should prove once and for all that people don't really give a fuck about the star power behind a film if everything else about it is terrible. This probably doesn't apply to that documentary series. Again, I don't know anything about it. But just that word star-driven or star-studded, that word is foul to me now. It's like poison. Let the material of the production speak for itself, and if there's great actors and actresses attached to it that people know, then that's just a bonus. It shouldn't be the selling point of a movie. You've just wasted a ton of money on an absolute dog shit script, talking about Borderlands here, and paid hand over fist oodles, millions upon millions of clams for a bunch of A-list actors and actresses that don't want to be in it and can't save it. It's just a waste. Anyway though, Glassman Media and Sugar 23 that we just learned about through this quick lore breakdown, this adventure I went on, they are slated to be working on this in some capacity, but down the line, the currently unnamed service could also feature original scripted series, animation, and content that's either licensed or acquired from other entertainment outfits. And thus is the curse of streaming services. Anytime one of these fucking things sprouts up, they always take from other already existing streaming platforms to try and get fans of whatever that product was to just immediately buy a subscription to your new one so that way they can continue to watch it. I hate that practice so much. Like, if you go to try and watch the entire Pokemon series, like Donkey illustrated in his video about streaming services, you have to go to, I think it was 7 different platforms to watch the entire series or something crazy like that. It's unacceptable. Like, that should just be illegal. It really should. It's such a headache. It's such a nuisance, and it's extremely expensive to do that. It costs more than cable for that, obviously. And if you have just one streaming service, your catalog is constantly dwindling and constantly subject to change, normally for the worst, because other streaming services are starting to poach from it. It just sucks. It super sucks. Companies don't really suffer for it, but consumers do. So I just imagine a world where Chick-Fil-A All Day Turbo Vision Plus, or whatever they're going to call the service, comes up and they just say, you know what, we're going to grab a couple of seasons from all of these different shows, this mishmash of a ton of beloved properties, and immediately slap them on our platform, and hopefully we can get some of those fans to just buy a subscription here so they can continue to watch what they love. I hate that. Like, it's so awful. I am beyond tired of all of these streaming platforms. It's so unnecessary. It's like Horcruxes. You have to just, like, defeat all of these other streaming platforms, kill them, let them die out, so that way you can just defeat this streaming menace and stop the gold rush once and for all. It's the only way. Chick-Fil-A hasn't announced or publicly commented on the programming initiative, but a pivot into entertainment production could be part of a bigger advertising or customer data play. Customer data is more valuable than money at this point. Every single company on the planet is doing everything they can to grab as much data as possible. It is the #1 currency in the world, period. It's fucking crazy how much they salivate over data. But anyway, Disney does it with Disney Plus, and it drove Walmart's interest in streaming, which ultimately led to partnering with Paramount Plus. I highly doubt that if this streaming platform launches, and it seems like it's going to, it's not really a question of if, more of when. It seems like they're already so far down the pipeline here that it's coming. And I just have no confidence in the quality of the shows they're going to slap on there. I just have no faith that there's going to be anything worth watching from the Chick-Fil-A streaming platform. Now, maybe this will age terribly. Maybe in a year from now, this will be the #1 platform. It produces just heater after heater. It's nothing but top tier level shows. But I'm just going to stamp my nuts on this here. I bet it's going to come out and it's going to be fucking flops. It's going to be a clunker. I'm speculating that this streaming service is going to go the way of Quibi. If any of you remember Quibi, God rest its soul. It came out and it raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and it tried to be this platform that delivered like big budget short form shows and movies, and they were all terrible. And that has since closed its doors, but it was a very expensive endeavor, and it was a very stinky one. I'm catching a whiff of that same smell with this pivot here from Chick-Fil-A. It's a smell that smells smelly. I'm huffing these rancid fumes, and I think it's just going to be completely worthless. That's my prediction, but I'm no Nostradamus, so we'll see. I'm not Baba Vanga, you know. But here's a very important tidbit here. The idea of a company launching an entire streaming service filled with feel-good stories just to sell chicken is a bit odd. Peculiar indeed, but those stories might just feel super good and have you scratching at your neck for some chicken. It feels important to bear in mind that Chick-fil-A is owned by the Cathy family, whose independently managed trust was instrumental in the foundation of Trillis Studios, the Atlanta studio most well known for its frequent work with Marvel. Chick-fil-A's corporate ties to the entertainment industry make this kind of move somewhat easy to wrap your mind around to a certain extent, but it's much harder to imagine people actually wanting to sign up for yet another platform that's probably going to be filled with commercials. So the family that owns Chick-fil-A already has an entertainment background, and from the bits of research I've done, they also have a lot of studios that don't see a lot of work right now. So I believe the idea is to just have those studios churning out content for the streaming platform to hopefully get a little bang for their buck out of those studios that are right now just kind of dormant. So to me, this seems like less of Chick-fil-A itself making this platform, and it kind of just being more of like the face of it to a certain extent. So it's wanting family-friendly content. It's going to be obviously advertising Chick-fil-A, I imagine. But it's more so the family that owns it already has access to these things to make content. So they're just going to try and make it for a streaming platform just to see how it goes. Because they can, I guess. Either way, I still think it's a horrible idea. And I don't think anything good is going to come from it. Well, yeah, I guess I could be super wrong about that. It could be an incredible platform, but I don't think so. I don't see that happening. I had to talk about it a little bit. That's it. So, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. When did Charles learn how to smolder like this? My God, 31-year-old man still stuns the old-fashioned way. Well, it's because today, for some reason, the internet has decided to feed me beauty-related news. Don't know why. Haven't searched up anything. Like, the closest thing I looked up to anything even remotely associated with that topic was, like, melatonin supplements, I guess. But I don't know if melatonin helps you glow or whatever. I don't know how that would build a bridge to beauty-related articles and everything, but whatever. One of them that got served to me I found to be so fascinating that I just have to talk about. Influencer suffers from severe chemical burns after attempting to remove facial parasite. So you can see on the right there, it's still in the process of healing, but it looks as though she had briefly peeked into the Ark of the Covenant and singed the lower half of her face off. And it's because she put Nair directly on her face to combat this supposed parasite that she is now named Caroline. It's a really interesting adventure here that I stumbled upon. So this is Brandi Glanville. She was a star in a show called Real Housewives, as well as a couple of other productions, and she has since become an online influencer. And apparently in 2023, she started experiencing symptoms that resulted in facial disfigurement and was later diagnosed with stress-induced angioedema, which causes facial swelling. And according to an Instagram post, it presented itself after a trip with her friends. And since then, she has now claimed that it is actually a facial parasite that is causing the facial disfigurement. So now she has waged war against it and has given the enemy a name, Caroline. That is the Voldemort for which she has sworn revenge and recently used biological warfare against it with Nair cream on her face.
Okay guys, I'm getting back to you because I don't know how to do TikTok and I know I look attractive. So, good news, you guys don't have to spend a lot of money on peels and lasers anymore. Because I decided to put Nair on my face because when I have an exfoliated face, it pisses the Caroline off, whoever's living in my face. She's right here right now and right here. And then she moved up here when I did the Nair. And yeah, but you know what I mean. So Nair is the fountain of youth. I figured it out, but I overdid it. 7 minutes, don't do it. But right now, my mom, because she trusts me.
She then proceeds to talk about her mom being there. But anyway, she thinks there's a parasite living in her face, which is why she's taken such drastic action against it. Though there is no evidence to support that claim, there is nothing to suggest she has a facial parasite. Now, of course, I'm not her doctor and haven't conducted an exam myself here. Maybe it is entirely possible she got bitten by the radioactive spider that gave Spider-Man his powers. I have no way of knowing, but from an uneducated Neanderthal's perspective, sitting in his swamp-ass chair, I decided to look into it myself a little bit, And to me, this sounds like delusional parasitosis. Again, this comes from a Cro-Magnon man, but it does sound like a textbook example of this, a condition in which a person has a fixed false belief that they are infected by an organism despite evaluation not showing an infection to be present. This refers to things like bugs living under their skin, parasites, worms, mites, that kind of thing, even though there is no doctor-supported evidence of it. So now with this belief in her head, she's going scorched earth on her own face. So she's carpet bombed it with Nair, which has clearly done a lot of damage to it. I don't think it'll be permanent. I imagine it'll probably heal fine. But again, I'm no expert on chemical burns, Nair, or pretty much anything, to be honest. Though I just have to imagine with that whole, like, nairing your butthole thing, I think the body's pretty resilient when it comes to it. It's just not good to use it on your face and other areas that it's not intended to be used on. I did also see people speculating that this could be Brandy covering up a laser job or an injection gone wrong or something like that. This could all be a false flag operation, and using Nair as the scapegoat here, like, oh, I tried to attack Caroline with Nair and look what happened. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that conspiracy theory, just judging by the way she talks about it. She is named the parasite, which, yeah, on the surface is kind of quirky, but it also, to me, kind of represents something a little more unhealthy beneath the surface here. She's already, like, from the sound of things, disregarding the medical diagnoses and instead has self-diagnosed as having a facial parasite. And now, even after the whole Nair debacle here, is claiming that Caroline dodged it and went up to her forehead now, but it made her angry. Like, she's talking about this fucking thing like it's the Demogorgon here. Like, again, something that there is no evidence to support its existence. I don't think this is her, like, making a cover story or anything like that. I don't think it's her trolling, especially judging by the description here. Beauty hacks. This is a good one, but do a test patch. I did 7 minutes and I'm on fire. So, Joko. What? So, oh, that's not a J. So, Ioko. Don't to 7 minutes. It also burned the loose skin off my arms and it's $7. Mix up some aloe vera, cucumber, and black tea. Put it in the freezer. Put it in the spray bottle. And once it's cold enough, spray all day because I'm in some pain. Reading it in my head, it didn't clock with me just how messy that description was. Reading it out loud was painful. I was like fucking reading Haunting Adeline out loud. I had a hard time getting through that. It was all over the place. That actually read like unhinged scribblings. But what she is saying here is that she has found Nair, used it, but was too aggressive with it, but still is preaching about Nair as like a good thing to try for like exfoliants in like chemical peels, when it's not a good thing for that at all. But she's even giving a tutorial like, I did 7 minutes, but don't do that. Instead, use aloe, cucumber, black tea, freeze it, and then spray it, and you're good to go. Do not follow that advice. I urge you not to make the same mistake she did of like nairing all of your sensitive spots. You're gonna not have a good time. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be singing the blues on it, I bet. But the reason I'm even mentioning the description here is none of this leads me to believe that she's taking the piss. None of this seems like it's her making a joke or something. She is like actively trying to give advice on like using Nair on your face, which is a bad thing to do. I do think this is a case of delusional parasitosis, and when I looked up Brandy Glanville plus Caroline to see like if the name had any meaning, turns out it does. It seems like she named this facial parasite that she believes she has after a real person, Caroline Manzo, who filed a lawsuit against Bravo, which was a station where this show was airing, Real Housewives. Caroline filed a lawsuit against Bravo for sexual harassment and assault that she allegedly experienced from her co-star Brandy Glanville. I couldn't believe the depth of the lore here, so I went even deeper into the rabbit hole. I then even checked out bits and pieces of the podcast, and then I also read this article which covered more of the podcast, where Brandy was talking more in depth about it all. She was opening up about how hard her life has been since the allegations from Caroline Manzo were made public. She revealed that she had contemplated suicide during it, also opened up about her facial disfigurement. She maintains her innocence, that she didn't do any of the things that Caroline is claiming, but she apparently lost several jobs, including one lined up in Australia. And she said, "And then I lost my looks at the same time. I literally at 51 started OnlyFans because I didn't have income for 6 months and I was like going through my savings. I was making good money and then my face started being crazy." She was apparently using a mask to hide her face, but then the fans over there were asking that she not use the mask. At the time she didn't have a diagnosis. Eventually she did get the diagnosis, but now, fast forward to today, she now believes it's actually all caused by a facial parasite, which she is battling with Nair, giving herself severe chemical burns on her face now to try and fight against the supposed parasite. This was a wild ride. Again, I don't know what I did to make the internet algorithm think that I wanted to be fed beauty influencer related news and articles. Maybe it knows I hit 31 and it thinks that I need to start doing things to take better care of my looks. I have no clue what it's trying to suggest, but I'm kind of happy this one floated across to me because this was one hell of a thing to learn about. Don't put Nair on your face, though. A lesson to all out there. That's really about it. So yeah. I've seen some bad ideas. I've had some bad ideas. I've had some really bad ideas. For example, probably one of my favorite terrible ideas that I've cooked up is where I wanted to test body armor by shooting myself in the chest while wearing it to see how much it hurts. Obviously, I recognize why that's a horrible idea, but you can't convince me it would be a horrible video. I think that would be a slapper. I think it would just be a full-blown red alert DEFCON banger for sure. But, point is, I've had bad ideas and I have seen innumerable horrible stinkers, especially from the likes of Ubisoft, who have become kind of like the Michael Jordan of bad ideas. That entire office, all of their headquarters, this entire company has basically become like Willy Wonka's factory for churning out dumb dog shit brain dead ideas instead of candy. And yet, what I'm about to talk about today is not a Ubisoft original. It actually comes from Meta. They have just announced what I believe to be the stupidest possible platform ever that will likely not be used by a single living, breathing, sentient human being on this planet, at least not on purpose. Let me introduce you to Vibes, a fully AI platform designed to share and create AI short-form videos. I just learned about this from Dolan Dark, who covered it. I had no idea. It feels like they made this announcement like whispered under their breath, because I haven't seen anyone even shoot spitballs at it. No one's even giving it the time of day to insult it. That's how under the radar it has flown. They have to know that no one wants this. Like, even people that don't mind AI content, I can't imagine being excited about this. There's just people that tolerate AI slop on TikTok and YouTube Shorts because it's become inundated with it now. It's like impossible to avoid. But I don't think even those people that can stomach that are going to be all gung-ho about going to a platform that is nothing but AI videos. That is a platform I can only see being used by bots. Just bots creating and sharing videos back and forth until the fucking heat death of the universe claims all our souls.
Well, Meta has announced a new feature on their app called Vibes, which is basically TikTok, except the content is entirely AI generated. As if scrolling TikTok wasn't brain-numbing enough, now you can do fully AI generated.
For the longest time, I thought considering yourself a professional Redditor, like a Reddit content creator, was the most pathetic title you could ever give yourself online. But I think if there's ever a point where someone unironically refers to themselves as a Vibes content creator or like a Vibes influencer, that should actually be grounds for some criminal charges, because that cringe is just illegal. There would be nothing more pathetic at all. I actually couldn't think of anything. You could come out and talk about being like a scat fetishist cuck or something, and I would still think there's more dignity in that than being a Vibes content creator. Anyone who even uses this platform, I think, should be shamed. It's so trash. There is no purpose to it. I cannot even picture what the person would look like that would be interested in a platform like this. Like, maybe some kind of like out-of-touch marketing octogenarian who thinks this is like a good way to promote a product or a brand, so they'd be like dumping endless advertisements on there. But I don't think there's anyone there that wants to consume that. Like, I don't think there is an audience for it at all. You're just putting it out to bots. Because bots will no doubt use this. It'll be nothing but bots. This is exactly what that shit would be utilized for bots to endlessly fart out just AI content. But as far as like an actual platform people would use, there is no value here. There is nothing at all to gain from it. Not even slightly. And I know, and Dolan Darkest also talks about it, that shorts and TikTok have become just completely ravaged by AI content now, just out the wazoo. Like, there's some of the most viewed videos on YouTube are just AI YouTube shorts, which aren't even really being consumed by people. It's just bots also watching it.
Short. Some of the most viewed shorts being this nonsense where a cat's watermelon car is crushed by a female transformer. And then this one with 50 million views with two fat people sitting in the mud and a train's behind them. And that's it. And the baby gets up and starts running and there's a watermelon there for some reason. And despite it having 50 million views, it has about 30 comments, and this is what the comments say. This video is really helpful. This deserves recognition. Bunch of emojis, and then this tutorial is very impressive. I did not expect it to be this good.
Yeah, you know that short was a turbo hit. Just look at the comments going ballistic for the big old man milkers running from a train with that woman and her baby joining along for the ride. They love it. This video is really helpful. This deserves recognition. I love cat. There wasn't a cat in the video, but they're just making a bold statement. They're not afraid to tell it like it is. They love cat, goddammit. What are you gonna do about it? Big whoop. You wanna fight? And then, of course, the one Dolan Darkest also mentions about the tutorial, which this is not a tutorial. It's clearly bots. It's not people watching this. It's just bots. And Dolan Darkest also went to that channel, and they have like actually 50 different variants of that exact same AI video. Just with like the different ethnicities as well as like different trains. It's such a mess. So now it's an entire platform of that. Who is going to watch it besides just bots who also aren't watching it, obviously? It's a waste. Meta is so out of touch, it's laughable. But here, you know what? Maybe I'm just a big old sourpuss here who can't see the vision. Here's the key takeaways. This was the first step towards a new way to discover, create, and share AI videos, which everyone has been begging for new ways of being able to discover AI videos. It's hard to find them these days. You don't know where to look. They're just so hidden. And there's so few of them. So this is a really great service. We're rolling out Vibes, a new feed of AI videos at the center of the Meta AI app. You can bring your ideas to life with new AI visual creation tools or remix an existing video by adding music. So I already love that they're encouraging, just go ahead and steal other people's videos because, I mean, it's AI. They don't even own anything anyway. They didn't actually create anything. So why don't you just take that video and add some different music to it? Or, like, maybe put it through a Studio Ghibli filter. Like, there's so many different options to remix that video. It's so good. They're just immediately just encouraging that shit. Vultures. Parasites. Anyway, though, they're rolling it out. I really like the images they show here for this little section. Good morning, Alex. Create an image of tiny treehouse for squirrels in the forest. Restyle my photo as cyberpunk. Create a video of a dog playing jazz. Holy shit, that's a game changer. This guy's a visionary. AI is giving this genius the tools to bring out-of-the-box ideas to life, like a dog playing jazz? What? I've never even heard of something like that before. This is crazy. This guy's going places. He's able to see things that no other man can see, and AI is allowing him to share this creative vision with all of us, from inspiration to creation, just as advertised. Holy shit, thank you, Vibes. Yeah, I didn't mean it as an exaggeration. I really think this is the worst possible idea for a platform. It is a platform that will actually probably break records for being the only website or the only app that has 0 users. Like, actually 0 downloads. It will entirely just be bots. It's so fucking stupid. Like, Jesus Christ, Rate My Poo from the early 2000s was a more valuable and better platform than Vibes. And that was a site dedicated entirely to strangers rating pictures of people's shits and toilet bowls. Like, somehow that has more use and value than Vibes. It is so sickening. It is gross. It is despicable how stupid Vibes is. It actually makes me upset that this would not only just be an idea, but something they're actually going through with. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.